Now let's take a look at page 92 and 93 of your textbooks. We're going to have continued practice on harmonic forms and arrangements here. So let's take a look at number 3 here. It says, study these common left-hand harmonic intervals found when playing 5/7 to 1 cadences. Play these intervals in the following keys. Okay, so first off, let's take a look to see what's happening in this first example. So let's say that we're in the key of D major here, because we are with the 2 sharps. We're going from a 5/7 to a 1 chord. If we look closely, we have the root of the chord and the 7th of the chord here. The root of the chord and the 7th of the chord, and it resolves to the 1 chord, the root of the chord, and the 3rd of the chord. Okay. So for the left hand, we'll play A and G, and then it resolves to D and F sharp. Fingering is not that important. You could do 5/1 to 3/2. You could do 5/1 to 4/2, whatever is comfortable. I'm just using 3/2. Then we're also going to do this in the key of G major. So let's think this. All right, in G major, the 5 chord in G major is going to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a D. We add the 7th, which is just a note below the octave, a whole step below the octave, so a C. And then we resolve to the 1 chord in G, which is GB. So that's 5/1. Now let's think it in the key of A. In the key of A, okay, what's the 5 chord in the key of A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's an E. We're going to add the 7th by dropping the note a whole step from the octave, so it's a D. So 7th is really fast to find if you just think down a whole step from the octave. So we have E, D, and then to the 1 chord, which is going to be A and C sharp. And then let's do in the key of F. The key of F, okay. What's the 5 chord? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's a C. And then add the 7th, whole step below the octave. And then to the 1 chord, F and A. Last but not least, we have E major. 5 chord in E major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a B. Add the 7th, a whole step below the octave. And then resolve to the 1 chord, E and G sharp. And then get to where you can play these back to back. So in D major, 5 chord, there's a 5/7 to 1. A major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5/7 to the 1 chord. And then F major, C7 to F major. And then E major, 1, 2, 3, 5, 5/7 to the 1 chord. Okay, so it's a mental exercise. So notice how we're really combining what you're learning in music theory with what you're doing practically here. Okay. Next, number 4. In item 1, you found smoother motion from harmony to harmony by using the closest position voicing. The progressions below use the same voicing. Okay, it is still a good idea to verbally spell each chord in root position before you play the closest position. Okay, so what you're going to be thinking is 1, 2, C, E, G. 1, 2, F, A, C. 1, 2, C, E, G. And notice how I'm doing that just as she's instructed here. Okay, so you'll get to do this with me. When we spell it, we're spelling it in root position. If you need to, write this in your books. Perfectly fine. It is a good idea to get to where you can kind of do this mentally, but if you need to say this verbally, it's fine. So in C major, the 1 chord is going to be C, E, G. The 4 chord is going to be F, A, C. Back to the 1 chord, C, E, G. To the 5 chord, this is going to be G, B, D in root position, and back to the 1 chord, C, E, G. Notice those are all root position triads. Now, we're actually playing them in cadence form. We're playing them in cadence form, but we're thinking in root position. This is to simplify because obviously that's how you typically think of your chords in root position. Okay? You can do this with either hands. You can do it with both hands. Doesn't matter. Okay. So in this first one, I'll do it with my right hand since it's in triple clef. Here we go. 1, 2, C, E, G. 2, F, A, C. 1, 2, C, E, G. 1, 2, G, B, D. 1, 2, C, E, G. 1, 2, just like that. And like I said, you can write these down right in front of you and just read it off the page. That's still going to give you some repetition and help you to recall these in the future. So it's really good practice just to mentally instill it in your mind. That way it's not just muscle memory, but it's also mental memory as well. Let's do the same exercise in the key of F major. In the key of F major. So again, to simplify this, I'm going to actually write them down. We already know the cadence, okay, by hand. We're good at that, but let's now say it as well. So I'm going to just write in the F major version now. I'll do this in green. 1 chord in F is F, A, C. The 5 chord, or the 4 chord rather, is B flat, D, F. The 1 chord is F, A, C. 5 chord is C, E, G. And the 1 chord is F, A, C. Okay, now let's try it. 1, 2, F, A, C. 1, 2, B flat, D, F. 1, 2, F, A, C. 1, 2, C, E, G. 1, 2, F, A, C. 1, 2. Okay, you might want to do that twice. Once you're comfortable with that, let's do the one in A major. Again, we already know the A major cadence. Okay, but we're going to say the note names now in position. So a 1 chord in A major is A, C sharp, E. What's the 4 chord? D, F sharp, A. Then back to the 1 chord, A, C sharp, E. To the 5 chord, E, G sharp, B. And back to the 1 chord, A, C sharp, E. Okay, so really making you think here. Here we go. 1, 2, A, C sharp, E. 1, 2, D, F sharp, A. 1, 2, A, C sharp, E. 1, 2, E, G sharp, B. 1, 2, A, C sharp, E. 1, 2. Okay. Now, let's take a look at example B. This one is different. Let's look how it's different. It's different because it doesn't start in root position 1. It actually starts in first inversion 1. So notice that this is actually first inversion 1 here. 4 is in root position, and 5 is in second inversion. Okay, so this is going to be different. It's going to take a little bit more time for you to get used to. So let's figure this out. With the right hand, the finger numbers are always going to be 1, 2, 5 here, then 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and erase this up here so it's a little easier to see. All right. Let's try playing that. 1, 2, 5. Then going to B flat, D, F. Back to 1, 2, 5, A, C, F. Down to G, C, E. And back to the 1 chord. Get a little comfortable with that hand shape and that transition for a bit. Then we can do it while saying the note names themselves. So the 1 chord for F major is going to be F, A, C. To the 4 chord, B flat, D, F. Back to the 1 chord, F, A, C. To the 5 chord, C, E, G. And back to the 1 chord, FAC. Do it the same way, very slowly. 1, 2. FAC. 1, 2. B flat D F. 1, 2. FAC. 1, 2. C E G. 1, 2. FAC. 1, 2. Okay, do that a few times to get comfortable. Next, we're going to do the same version for D major. In the key of D major, the 1 chord is going to be D, F sharp A. The 4 chord will be G, B, D. The 1 chord is D, F sharp A. The 5 chord is A, C sharp E. And the 1 chord is D, F sharp A. But now we're starting in first inversion, so we're starting on F sharp A, D, like that. Let's talk about the hand position. So F sharp A, D, then root position 4, which is just G, B, D. Back to first inversion 1, F sharp A, D, and then the 5 chord, which will be E, A, C sharp, and back to the 1 chord, F sharp A, D, like that. Once you're comfortable just playing through it, then we can do it and say the note names in root position. 1, 2, D, F sharp A. 1, 2, G, B, D. 1, 2, D, F sharp A. 1, 2, A, C sharp E. 1, 2, D, F sharp A. 1, 2. Again, do that a few times until you're very comfortable. Now let's do the version in B major. The 1 chord will be B, D sharp, F sharp. The 4 chord will be E, G sharp, B. Back to the 1 chord, B, D sharp, F sharp. The 5 chord is F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and back to the 1 chord, B, D sharp, F sharp. Again, we're starting in first inversion 1 chord. Let's get comfortable with the shape first. D sharp, F sharp, B. That's the 1 chord. 4 chord is root position E major, E, G sharp, B. Back to first inversion 1, D sharp, F sharp, B. The 5 chord will be C sharp, F sharp, A sharp, and back to the 1 chord, D sharp, F sharp, B. Once you're comfortable with the progression, then let's do it and say the root position note names. 1, 2, B, D sharp, F sharp. 1, 2, E, G sharp, B. 1, 2, B, D sharp, F sharp. 1, 2, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. 1, 2, B, D sharp, F sharp. 1, 2. Just like that. Now going to letter C. Letter C here. Now it's with the left hand. Notice it is actually not root position and it's not first inversion, but actually second inversion now. So let's write this in. It's a 1-6-4, second inversion. The 4 chord is in first inversion. 1 chord is in second inversion. The 5 chord now is in root position. And then we go back to the 1-6-4. The fingering for the left hand will be 5-2-1, 5-3-1, 5-2-1, then 5-3-2-1, and 5-2-1. Let's get comfortable with the position here. So we have B, E, G sharp, it's an E major. going to go up to C sharp, E, A, back down to B, E, G sharp, and the 5 chord, B, D sharp, F sharp, A, and back to B, E, G sharp. Again, play this until you're fairly comfortable with the hand shapes. And then we can do it with the actual note names in root position spelled. So in this case, the 1 chord in the key of E is going to be E, G sharp, B. The 4 chord is going to be A, C sharp, E. The 1 chord is E, G sharp, B. The 5/7 is going to be 4 notes, B, D sharp, F sharp, A. And the 1 chord is going to be E, G sharp, B. Let's try it together. 1, 2, E, G sharp, B. 1, 2, A, C sharp, E. 1, 2, E, G sharp, B. 1, 2, B, D sharp, F sharp, A. 1, 2, E, G sharp, B. 1, 2. Okay. Now let's do it in the key of G major. In the key of G major, the 1 chord is going to be G, B, D. The 4 chord will be C, E, G. Back to the 1 chord, G, B, D. To the 5/7 chord, D, F sharp, A, C. And back to the 1 chord, G, B, D. Again, first we're going to get comfortable with the hand position. So we're starting second inversion, which will be D, G, B. 1 chord. 4 chord, E, G, C. 1 chord, D, G, B. 5 chord, D, F sharp, A, C. 1 chord, D, G, B. Okay, do that a few times. You can rewind the video as needed. When you're comfortable with the hand position, then we'll do it with saying the chord names in root position. Here we go. 1, 2, G, B, D. 1, 2, C, E, G. 1, 2, D, G, G, B, D. 1, 2, D, F sharp, A, C. 1, 2, G, B, D. 1, 2. And then we're going to do it in C major. C major, 1 chord is C, E, G. The 4 chord is F, A, C. Back to the 1 chord C, E, G. To the 5/7, G, B, D, F. And back to the 1 chord C, E, G. And again, we're going to get used to the hand position first. So here we have G, C, E. 1. The 4 chord is going to be A, C, F. 4. Back to the 1. G, C, E. 5/7, G, B, D, F. And back to the 1. G, C, E. 1. Once you're comfortable with the hand position, then we can play it whilst saying the chord names in root position. 1, 2, C, E, G. 1, 2, F, A, C, 1, 2, C, E, G, 1, 2, G, B, D, F, 1, 2, C, E, G, 1, 2. Now going to the last set of examples here, example D. We're back to root position in the right hand. The only difference here is we're adding the 7th, okay? You're going to use 4th finger on that. So this will be 1, 2, 4, 5. Okay? Other than that, it's the same as your normal cadence. Just add your 4th finger on the E. And let's say the note names here. So the 1 chord in B major is B, D sharp, F sharp. The 4 chord is E, G sharp, B. Back to the 1 chord, B, D sharp, F sharp. The 5 chord is F sharp, A sharp, A sharp. Oh, I keep writing the C sharp right next to it. A sharp, C sharp, E, and back to the 1 chord, B, D sharp, F sharp. Once you're comfortable with the transitions in the hand, try it while saying the chords. 1, 2, B, D sharp, F. 1, 2, E, G sharp, B. 1, 2, B, D sharp, F sharp. 1, 2, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E. 1, 2, B, D sharp, F sharp. 1, 2, just like that. Now let's try it in the key of A major. Let's write in the chord names. The chord names for a 1 chord in A major is A, C sharp, E. The 4 chord is D, F sharp, A. Back to the 1 chord, A, C sharp, E. To the 5 chord, 5, 7, E, G sharp, B, D. And back to the 1 chord, A, C sharp, E. Again, start with just the right hand. Get comfortable adding the 7th, which is D, first. Okay? Once you're comfortable with that, then we can add in saying the chord names. Here we go. 1, 2, A, C sharp, E. 1, 2, D, F sharp, A. 1, 2, A, C sharp, E. 1, 2, E, G sharp, B, D. 1, 2, A, C sharp, E. 1, 2. And last but not least, we have an example in G major. The 1 chord in G major is G, B, D. The 4 chord is C, E, G. The 1 chord is G, B, D. The 5, 7 is D, F sharp, A, C, and back to the 1 chord, G, B, D. Again, get comfortable playing the cadence with the added 7th. Once you're comfortable with that, then we can do it whilst saying the chord names. 1, 2, G, B, D. 1, 2, C, E, G. 1, 2, G, B, D. 1, 2, D, F sharp, A, C. 1, 2, G, B, D. 1, 2. And that concludes this page, 92. On the next video, we'll cover page 93, which is an extension of this exercise. I'll see you in that video.